Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share this really fun birthday card that I made with my Cricut, and I'm going to show you how to make it, and I will also share the project on the Cricut Design Space. So if you have Cricut, you can just bring up the project on Design Space, customize it for yourself, and make the project. Let's get started. Okay, so we start our project. First I'm going to start with the wine bottles. I'm going to start with the wine bottles. So I search for images, and the two filters that I have marked are free and purchased. I just do that because I don't like to buy things if I don't have to. So let's look for a wine bottle in the free and purchased. And here's one that's free. So we're going to put that over there. And let me get rid of that. And this is about 1 inch by 3 inches, and you can make it whatever size you want. I'm going to make it 4 inches high. And the easiest way to do that is just come up here and say 4. And if you leave that lock button on, it keeps the size ratio, so it doesn't like skew it out to be really wide or really short or something. Now, those are my wine bottles, and I'm going to have 5 of those. But before I do that, I want to create the little red part at the top, which is kind of like the wax seal or the waxy or the foil seal that goes around the top over the cork. So the way that I did that is I just created a shape. Take a square, and again, the square shapes are free in Cricut Design Space, and you don't have to shrink it down, but I'm going to put the wine bottle on top so that I can see it. You want to take your wine bottle and you want to duplicate it, because if you don't, you're going to slice the top off, and then you'd have a wine bottle without a top. It's easier to place the little foil thing over the top if the underneath bottle is still there. So now we pick our two things, we slice it, and we just want to grab that top, and now I can delete all of that. I'm going to make my wine bottle green, and if you change your color up here, you don't have to change the color, but it just makes it easier. And we're going to change this color to a red. And now you can see when I put that on top, it fits right on there. And if you want, you can align them. Align top and align center horizontally. That's the one. And now you can see what your bottles are going to look like. Now you can select both of those and duplicate it to however many times you want. I made 5. Okay, now we're going to make our little label. Now you can, again, pick any shape, or you can go in and look for a label shape in whatever you like. And let's see, I think I will use, well, that's a nice one. We'll use that. Okay. Get rid of that. And we're going to make our label white. And I'm going to shrink it down, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now, again, you can rotate it 90 degrees just by going like this and turning it, but if you really want to get it perfect, you can just use the rotate button. And then you want to size it on your bottle so that it's whatever size you want. And I'm going to go about there. Okay. And now I put a little monogram on there. again, you can go back to your images, and I want an L monogram. And so you can look and see if you find an L monogram that you like. I do like that one, so let's go with that. But I'm going to put it inside of a scalloped circle to make like a little label. So let's take that. And then we're going to move that on top so we can see it. And we're going to go with our scallop circle. And it needs to be about the right size to fit onto that label. Okay, that's about right. Now I need to get my monogram small enough to fit inside that circle. Now I'm not crazy about that monogram, so I'm going to take that and delete it. And instead, I'm just going to get a letter. And I'm just going to type an L and pick a letter, a font. Again, I'm going to pick a single layer cutting font that's either free or purchased. And I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to shrink it down so that it fits inside my little scalloped circle. Now you can do one of two things. I'm going to align center those. Now if you want, you could cut those as separate things and glue the L on. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice those two things. And then I'm just going to use this on top of the label and let the white shine through. Now if you want to add writing on here, the way you do that, let me get it over here so you can see, is again, let's write some text. Aged to perfection. And let's just, I want that in a writing font. So first thing we're going to do is change it to a pen. And then we're going to go to a writing style font. So choose a writing font instead of a single layer cutting font. And let's go with Alyssa Stencil Script. That's a pretty one. And then you can just shrink it down until it fits on the bottom of that label. That looks pretty good. Now, let me get my monogram up here, make sure it's still going to fit. Yep, okay. So that's what my label's going to look like. But what I want to do is I want to attach that writing to the label. So select the two of them and say attach. Now it's going to draw that text on the label before it cuts it out. Okay? So there's my bottles. There's my label with my monogram that's going to go on the label. The writing is attached to the label, so it will write on there. Now I'm going to create my little crate. Now the way I did that is I just used this, again, a free rectangle. And I'm going to get one of my bottles up here. So I'm going to stack my bottles up about how they would be. And I'm going to put 4 bottles in my little crate. Okay. So now those 4, you can see the width is about 3.5 inches. So I want my crate to be about 4 inches wide. So you can do one of the two things. You can just make it a solid box, by just kind of going like this. but I don't like the looks of that. I wanted to actually create a crate. So I created two strips of card that I'm going to put through a wood grain embossing folder at 4¼ inches long by 3/4 of an inch high. And I'm going to make those white as well. Okay, so there's one. And I need to duplicate that. There's two. Now do I want it two? No, I think I need three. 3/4 of an inch may be too wide. Yeah, that's too tall. So I'm going to make them 1/2 inch. And you can adjust this depending on the size of your bottles. If your bottles are really tall, then you probably want to leave them a little bit wider because you got a lot more room. But see, that's much better. Now I need my cross pieces this way. So again, I'm just going to take that same rectangle and duplicate it. But this one I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. And I only want it essentially, I want it 1/2 inch long or 1/2 inch wide. But I only need it, 2 inches is probably good. And we're just going to duplicate that because I need 2 of them. Now that creates my crate. I've got my bottles, my 5 bottles. So I've got my 5 bottle caps. I've got my label and my monogram, which I need to duplicate. Now you can do this. You can put this on your bottles in here. I didn't because honestly they're not going to show because your crate's going to be in the way. So I only created one label just for the bottle that's outside of the crate. Okay. And then if you want to create a little label for the front of your crate, what I did is I took that same monogram and I duplicated it, but this time I'm going to put it in the middle of my crate. I'm going to make it big because I want it to cover that whole front of the crate. But see, now it's got the see-through. So to create a part behind it, I'm going to create an offset of 1/4 inch is too big. So let me pick that, and I'm going to create an offset of 1/8 of an inch, 0.125, and we're going to apply that. And then you can make your offset whatever color you want. I'm going to make mine kind of a darker blue. I mean, that's probably not the color I'm going to make it. Actually, I think I may make it the same red as the cork. And that label I'm not going to make light blue. I think I'm going to maybe I'll make that a nice gold. Something like that. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of a tag. And again, we're going to go to the images. And I'm going to select a tag. Find a tag that I like. Oh, that's nice. Oh no, that's actually nice. I like that one. We're going to make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to make it white. And then I'm going to add some writing on there, just with a name that's, happy birthday, and the person that I'm going to give it to. Okay? And you just do that the same way that you did writing on that one. So let me rotate that so it's straight. Text. Happy birthday. All right, get it up there. And once you're happy with it, select that and attach it. Otherwise, your writing will not be on your tag. And there you go. You're basically ready to make your project. All right. So I have mine all set with personalized tags and everything. So I'm going to go make that project, and I'll be right back with you to show you how to put it together. Okay, so I've got everything cut out, and I cut my label for my crate out of the black and red, and then I cut the tops of the bottles out of green, and the tops of the bottles out of this kind of red foil cardstock. And I'm going to put my tops on my bottles just with some tacky glue. And because we cut them and we left the bottom completely whole, it makes it a lot easier to put that on there. And then I've got my little label for the one bottle, a little white label. And this is the bottle that's not going to be in the crate. And I've got my little black label that's going to go on there. Now I could have backed this, and probably should have with the red. That would have looked nice, but I think that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. This is the label for my crate. I finished putting my bottles together. And then the one thing that I didn't show you that I did cut is I cut some flourishes out of green, and they have two layers to them. So these are the back layer and this is the front layer. They go together like this. And I cut 3 of those. And then I cut some little like grape leaves, and I'm going to use those to decorate the bottom of my little crate. These flourishes are in the Cricut project, and I believe they're from an Anna Griffin card or collection that I have purchased. If there are free, and you don't have that, there are free flourishes available. Just search for flourish, and the little grape leaves are free as well. And I think I just searched for leaves, and I found these little, I don't know if they're grape leaves, they kind of look like grape leaves to me, and I just cut a bunch of them in different sizes. Okay. So now I've got a 5x7 card blank. It's a top opening card. If you don't have any 5x7 card blanks, you can make one really easily. You just cut a piece of 10x7 inch and fold it in half. Get your 5x7. I did cut Matt's 2 pieces of cardstock, one in the same green as the bottles, at just about 1/8 of an inch smaller, so 4 7/8 by 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, and then this one is 4 3 or about 4 5/8 by about 6 5/8. So came down about 1/4 of an inch and with this pattern paper. And then I did cut on the inside, and this is actually in the project as well. I just cut well, I cut the green just with my paper trimmer, but this one is in the project, and I did the writing, and this is the same bottle here, and then again some wine glasses, and then this is that same label, but I just turned it into a draw instead of a cut, so that it completely matches. Now you could cut another bottle and put in there if you wanted to, you know, and you could cut some glasses out of like silver or something if you wanted to. And in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I might do that because I think that looks pretty good. In the meantime, let's go ahead and build our card. So I'm going to put my one glass on the outside that's not going to be in my crate, and then I'm going to put my bottles that are in my crate, and I'm going to put them staggered as if, you know, some were behind the other. So 2 to the front and 2 to the back, and we're going to put them even on the bottom because they're sitting in a crate, remember, so they're level with the bottom. And then you're going to build your crate over the top. And these are my little pieces for my crate that I cut 1/2 inch wide, and I've got 3, and I ran them through, after I cut, I ran them through an embossing folder. This is a Crafter's Companion embossing folder that's wood grain, and then put a little bit of brown ink on the over the top to make it look like wood. If you don't have that, just leave them plain white. So see, if you just had a plain white, it would look fine. You don't have to emboss them and ink them. I just think it adds a little bit to it. But I'm going to make sure my bottles are about where I want them. Yeah. Okay, so I want them about that far apart. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the back ones down, and then I'm going to glue these on foam tape so they're a little bit, so they look like they're more forward in front of the other ones. So let's go ahead and glue these down. And whenever I use foam tape, I almost always put a little bit of glue on the foam tape, because sometimes foam tape will dry out and just peel off. There. Now see how that gives it dimension? And I'm going to actually put this one on foam tape as well. Before I put that one on, I'm going to go ahead and build my little crate. Now I'm going to put one on the bottom, and then one just up above, and I'm just going to kind of center these up, and one above that, just kind of like, about like that, and then I'll put the side ones on the top of those, okay? And I'm going to use a little bit of, this is Kalal 3D glue gel. It's in this little syringe. It makes it easy to put on, and it basically allows you to get dimension on your project. And you can kind of squish it down or move things around but it gives you a little bit of dimension, and it takes a while to dry, so you can move things around if you need to. Okay, and now I'm going to take my little flourishes and just put them kind of across the bottom. And then I've got a tag that I made. I'm going to use this like baker's twine. And I think I'm just going to tuck it kind of like that underneath that top. Nice birthday card. And I'll share my Cricut project, and you'll be able to make this. Thanks for watching.